So, para sa PPT number 8, so ang next topic is about the unicameral and bicameral legislature. Can you read that?
Unicameral, the label for a legislature that has only one house. Bicameral, the label for a legislature that has two houses.
So, yun. Kapag sinabi natin unicameral, the labor of the legislature has only one. So, isa lang yung namamahal or nagbibigay ng decisions within a specific place. Halimbawa na lang ay ang sa mga barangay. So, ang matuturi siya as unicameral kasi isa lang yung kanilang namumuna doon sa isang specific places. Then, kapag sinabi naman natin bicameral, the labor of the legislature that has two houses or chamber. Halimbawa lang sa Pilipinas, we have legislature. Meron tayong tinatawag na upper and lower legislature kung saan ang nasa upper ay ang mga senator, then ang nasa lower ay ang mga House of Representatives. So, most legislature are made up of one of the two houses known as chamber. The legislature consisting of just one house is known as unicameral, a system with two houses such as the United States has a bicameral legislature internationally and unicameral legislature are not unusual. So, tulad ng sabi ko kanina, di ba kapag sinabi natin chambers, kung saan meron siyang mga sanghay-sanghay, halimbawa nung sa Pilipinas, we have two legislator, which is the upper and House Representative. Then, kapag unicameral, tatandaan nyo lang, only or single one lang yung nagpapatupad ng isang decisions making in the certain place. They make a great deal with sense of boundaries less of concern that United States with separations of power and those more eager for efficient dominating or any unitary system will not need to have member of the government represented in different regions as the national level. So, din nga, sa United States, meron siyang separations of power tulad ng sa Pilipinas, merong upper and lower representative na kung saan sila yung nag-create ng mga batas na mas nagiging efficient sa paggagawa ng isang law kasi before ma-approve sa upper, bago i-approve ng upper ay magagaling muna yung decisions from the lower representative. And the two houses of this bicameral system are named upper houses and lower houses. That the relative power between the two houses varies in some cases. The house of almost equal in power. This is the case for the equal in the United States, and not often the lower houses in the more powerful and here considered legislations. So, same lang din naman ng sa unicameral at bicameral kasi yung unicameral single lang yun na nagkakaroon ng decisions in terms of pag-create ng law, then mas mabilis, effectively siya at ma-implement ng mas maayos. Then kapag bicameral system naman, dalawa, which is na yung upper house and lower house, na hindi agad na-approve yung mga decisions. And almost equal din lang yung power ng dalawa kasi nga, ang more on focus sila sa pag-create ng law and pag-implement ng mga batas. In those cases, the upper houses may provide check on the power of the lower house, but in really initiate government action in its own case, in upper houses, the more than rubber stamp at best and delay in legislation, but it's not gonna be resolved. Yun. Kasi minsan, di ba, before ma-approve yung sa lower houses, parang hindi, ang sumasala na lang nito ay yung mga nasa upper. So, mas nabibigyan ng atensyon yung mga nasa lower houses, yung mga batas, kasi sila yung mas nakakaalam kung ano yung mas magandang batas na nagpatas na yon. So, kumbaga, naka-rubber stamp lang siya dahil mas matitake yung gagawin ng mga nasa lower houses kasi sa kanila manggagaling yung batas at ipapasa nila. So, kailangan mas detailed siya compared to sa nasa upper house na kasi yung upper house sila na yung pag-a-approve para naman madala siya sa executive at ma-approve. And upper houses also vary how members are selected. Even the democracies and general population may not be direct elect member of those upper house. In federal democratic system like established in Germany, they may be appointed by the legislator of the various regions of government. So, sa Germany kasi, parang sa Pilipinas, di ba, tayo yung nag-a-appoint or tayo yung bumuboto kung sino yung magiging part ng isang legislator or position or dun sa isang sanghay. Compare naman dito sa US, yung mismong this was also a method for the selecting member of the U.S. Senate before the 17th Amendment, which established direct election of senator was started in 1931. So direct yung pag-aano niya, yung method niya with selecting members, sila yung nagsiselect ng mga member na magiging part ng isang Senate. Sila yung nag-a-amend ng mga magiging senators. And compared dun dito naman kay Canada, sa bansang Canada, ang Prime Minister yung nag-a-appointment para sa isang posisyon. Halimbawa na lang, sila yung may kapangyarihan para ibigay yung posisyon or yung sanghay. Sila yung pipili ng isang representative para maging siya yung mamumuno dun sa isang sanghay.
Previous chapter introduced the idea of battle points. In the political system, by cameral legislature have got more battle points than two unicameral legislature, and even more if communities are powerful. As a result, bicameral system generally produce policy more slowly, sometimes falling victim to veto.
Ito lang na, yung chapter niya, in-explain lang doon yung sa dalawa, yung bicameral and unicameral. Then explain doon na, syempre, kapag bicameral, possible na yung decisions ng isa ay hindi compatible para sa decision ng isang House Representative. So, magkakaroon siya ng conflict between sa implementing and pag-approve ng isang. And additional veto point can also check the abuse of majority party in the way of single chamber. The legislature cannot, and majority party may be represented to be will of the majority at the one moment, but not necessary interest of country in the long run. So, sinasabi dito na kapag, diba, sa additional na veto point, yung single chamber mas, diba, hindi siya majority yung bumuboto sa kanya. So, kapag ganito, mas konti lang yung decision na makikreate nila, konti lang yung makikinabang compared doon sa pag-create ng mas long term na decisions or long term na batas. So, mabilis siyang mapalitan. And bicameral system are also more compatible with the elements of federalism and can better represent local and regional interests in the national level. So, sa tingin nyo, alin mas okay, ang unicameral or ang bicameral system? Rachel?
Para sa akin ay yung bicameral.
Bakit?
Kasi, parang tayo na dalawang grupo na nag-decision ng mga law. So, parang kapag hindi, kasi kapag kapag isa lang yung gumagawa, parang hindi na agad, parang hindi na siya, parang hindi na tinitingnan yung opinion ng iba. So, kapag bicameral, parang kapag nagpasa ang isa ng law, may isa pang susundan doon para makapagbigay na siya ng tungkol sa gano'n.
Tama yung sinabi ni Rachel, kasi kapag bicameral, di ba, meron siyang process. Hindi siya agad na i-aakyat sa, hindi agad siya agad na i-implement kasi dadaan muna siya na upper kung saan yung mga senado. Sa kanila i-approve, then itataas nila sa executive para mag-approve. So sabi nga dito, mas efficient or mas effective kapag sa bicameral system kasi nakahati siya sa dalawa. So yung upper, anong sabi ba? Yung upper houses, ay yung lower houses kasi, mas maganda yung nai-implement nila kasi sila yung mismo yung nasa may baba. Then sila yung nakakaalam kung ano yung pangangailangan ng mga tao. And yun yung pagiging representative nila para may akyat nila sa national level. And then sa kanila yung i-implement. And next, the power of legislative. Ate Pagman.
The power of legislative committee is a group of members legislative body that works on a particular set of acts. Most legislative bodies use committees to help draft bills prior to a final vote. They may also play important roles in the oversight process, with certain committees monitor the activities of particular countries, agency, or department.
Kapag kasi sinabi committee is a group kung saan sila yung nagsiserve ng topic para dun sa isang legislative body. Kung sa isang salita, sila yung nag-a-assess kung ano ba yung ano yung kailangan nilang activities na ini-implement sa isang regions or sa isang state. And then sila din yung nag-a-assess sa mga issues sa bawat area na ginagawa nila ng gumagawa sila ng solusyon para matigil yung isang issue sa isang area. Then, meron din kasi committee na hindi pang matagalan. Kumbaga ay, merong mga committee na nagagawa sila ng mga solutions pero hindi nagtatagal in the long term. Kumbaga ay natitipag din or naaalis. Kapag kasi committee nga, nag-create sila ng solutions or nag-expertise sila ng mga according to sa issues sa certain area, then yung power committee kasi, sila yung mas slow yung process kasi mas malawak yung handle nila. Then yung pag-i-implement nila, sila yung nag-create ng bagong implementations doon sa specific issues na pinag-aaralan nila or nung isang committee. So, committee is a group of member of legislator that work in particular topic. So, nakahati siya sa dalawa. Ang standing committee that meet on the regular basis, and ad hoc committee with the committee that deals with special circumstance that do not fit really into the existing committee structures. Ang standing committee, ito yung permanent na nag-create or na nagsusuri sa isang issues. Then itong ad hoc committee naman, siya naman yung hindi permanent na nag-create or hindi siya pang matagalan na nagsusuri ng isang issues at yung nagiging solutions ay hindi siya pang long term yung kanyang effectivity. In most committee, permanent group that meet on regular basis called standing committee such as group often mirror the agency and department of ministry and executive. And the committee that regularly address environment issue will be cropped in those environmental protections. So yung standing committee pala, sila yung mga mirror of agency. Halimbawa lang ay ang Department of Education, yung ibang department na humahawak lang sa iba't ibang sanghay. Then sila yung nag-create, di ba? Meron yung may mga Department of Education, meron siyang secretary. Then yung mga executive, di ba yung executive yung pinakamataas, kung saan yung mga policy na in-create nila ay long term and naka-write siya dun sa ating batas. And itong standing committee, permanent sila kasi nga hindi agad-agad na babago. Then meron lang isa na magiging isang part na committee nyo. So yun nga ang Department and Ministry of Executive. In addition, the legislator was create ad hoc committee or commissions to deal with a specific important problem and those not easily fit into the existing permanent committee structures. Yung ad hoc committee naman, compared dun sa standing committee, ito naman ay hindi siya permanent, kumbaga ay nababago. Parang specific problem lang yung nasusolusyonan nila compared dun sa standing committee na pangkalahatan yung magiging solusyon nila na yun yung i-create nilang law para mas ma-implement nila para sa lahat. Dahil kapag ang committee, pwede siyang mabago, pwede siyang mapalitan, pwede siyang ma-revise kasi nga, specific problem niya, hindi sa panglahatan kapag national level, yung i-create niya, ina-assess niya ang issues, kaya hindi din pang lahat, hindi pwede sa lahat ma-implement yung ina-address nitong ad hoc committee. The power of committee barrier.
Power of committee barrier. Committees in the U.S. Congress are among the most powerful non-parliamentary systems, particularly in Northern Europe, also grant a large amount of power to
So yun, sa US kasi, meron silang, sa US kasi, malaki ang kapangyarihan nila para i-control yung isang committee. Kumbaga sila yung nagpo-control para sa batas bago ito ipasa yung batas ngayon. Hindi siya, may mga process pa siyang dadaanan bago maipasa yung batas na. Kumbaga ay hindi siya mabilis ma-implement kasi mas sinusuri nila based on sa issues na pinag-aralan nila kung aaprubahan ba siya ng Congress or aaprubahan siya ng Executive Department. Pabasa. So yung Prime Minister, di ba sila yung nag-a-approve para ma-implement naman siya ng mga nasa local government office. So kailangan, local government unit. So bago kasi siya ma-approve, di ba, meron siyang mga process na dinadaanan. Then sila sabi na ang committee daw, the there shall be hour of all many details. So mas detalyado yung kinikreate nila kasi nga hindi siya agad na i-implement ng mas mabilis compared doon sa ibang batas. Then, this proposal dramatically during the deliberation. So, parang yung sa batas natin, di ba, kapag bill pa lang siya, hindi pa siya yung mismong batas na parang pinag-aaralan pa o marami pang process bago siya may ipasa. Kumbaga ay, under pa rin siya ng Senate, hindi pa rin siya na-aprobahan. Then, kapag naman yung mga batas na approved na, diba, ang tawag sa kanya ay yung parang naka-enacted na, kapag ay nakasulat na siya, yung batas. The executive. Ikaw, tugasan. karapatan or sa yung may responsibilidad upang patakbuhin yung isang bansa. Halimbawa nga sa Pilipinas, diba si Bongbong Marcos dapat yung may responsible para maging mas maayos, mas patakbuhin ng maayos ang Pilipinas. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng executive. So yung nag-address ng mga issues, then also yung nag-a-approve para mas maging maayos yung isang country.
Executive and most important government ministers.
So yung cabinet, sila naman yung nagagawa ng mga decisions or yung batas para na makakatulong sa mga Pilipino. Halimbawa sa bansa natin, diba? Yung cabinet kasi yung responsible to create law or bill para mas maging mabuti yung pagpapatakbo sa Pilipinas. And domestic political task of executive.
Domestic political task of executive. The most important day-to-day activities of executive take place in the domestic political arena. Executive administers government policy through a substantially sized segment of the government known as the bureaucracy. The executive also coordinates the development of new government policy.
So, kung kanina, sila yung nag-create sila ng law para ma-implement. So, dito naman sa domestic political task of executive, sila naman yung nag-i-implement sa mga tao. Halimbawa lang yung mga department natin na sila yung, doon nila nilalagay yung mga programa para makatulong sa mga tao. Sila yung responsible to implement to them yung batas na kanineate ng cabinet. So, sila yung nagsasagawa na. Sila yung nagpapatupad. Babasa.
The executive implements and administers government policy, effectively carrying out government policy being a job. Even in small matters, for the chief executive and top ministers, there is no bureaucracy that is body of unelected government which are already government ministries and agencies runs and regulate their affairs.
So, yan. Kapag kasi sinabi natin, bureaucracy, sila yung mga committee or member ng isang ahensya na hindi natin inihalal. Kumbaga, mismong yung executive department, sila yung mismong nanili para doon sa isang department. Para, halimbawa, di ba sa Department of Education, si Angara yung isa sa, di ba yung secretary natin. So, hindi natin siya pinagbotohan na nanggaling sa mga tao yung boto para maging isang department kabilang sa maging secretary ng Department of Education. So, yung executive, yung talaga sa kanya. So, yun yung bureaucracy. So, medyo mas matagal yung effectivity and mas malaki yung responsibility ng isang bureaucracy kasi nga, sila yung mas mag-i-implement from the lower, from national to lower level na dapat ma-access lahat ng mga tao. So for the continuation, next naman ay coordinating policy development and budget. Kahit
with their agencies to formulate an recommendation.
So, kahit na, di ba, coordinate policy development budget. Ito naman ay, about sa budgeting na nilalabas ng ating government. Then, kahit democratic system, di ba, hiwalay si legislator kay executive. Pero, may malaki pa rin role na ginagampanan si executive para sa budgeting and pag-create ng isang policy na ginagawa. Then, cabinet member work with agency for military recommendations. So, si cabinet member, sila naman yung nag-create ng recommendations na makakatulong sa government. Then, sila yung nag-formulate or nag-create or nag-revise ng mga binubuong batas. And using events such as press conference or national address, presidents and prime minister mobilize public support in their policy positions. So, gamit yung mga press conference, nagkakaroon sila ng press conference and national deliberation kung saan ina-address nila. Di ba merong pinaging sa SONA? Di ba nagkakaroon ng SONA? Then doon sinasabi lahat ng ano yung plan sa after 5 years or 10 years, ano yung napatupad na, at ano pa yung mga plan na ibibigay nila. And sinasabi din doon yung mga budget na inilalabas nila through department, sa mga department na mahalaga para matugunan yung pangangailangan ng mamamayan or ng mga Pilipino. And through the legislator have ultimate control of the government portrayed in most democracy. The executive generally present the budget of the legislator to consider, and voters are likely to hold the chief executive responsible for national economic performance. So yun, legislative ultimate control, sila yung may control doon sa mga, di ba, legislator, sila yung mga House of Representatives under ng legislator. So sila yung may ultimate control sa government purpose in the most democracy. And then yung executive nga, sila yung nagpo-present ng budget according to sa create or dun sa binaba ng legislator. And voters are likely to hold the executive. Di ba, may control, kayang kontrolin ng third executive. So yun yung responsible for the national economic performance. Kasi siya yung nagpapa-implement. Di ba, bago ma-implement ang isang batas, dumadaan muna sa executive kung ito ay aprobahan. So siya yung responsible. Doon ma-assess kung after na implementation, ay yung national economic performance ba ay naging mas maayos dahil doon sa budgeting na inilalabas or doon sa mga batas na kini-create galing sa legislator. So, yun yun. So, in non-democratic is most parliament, democracy, and executive is even more active in policy development. And this especially true when single party control the majority of the seats in parliament. Sa parliamentary democracy kasi, ang executive yung mas more active sa pag-create ng isang policy. Pag-create ng policy. So, yung yun yung tinatawag na kasi control ng executive or yung ng prime minister or ng president yung isang bansa. Then, kapag tinawag naman natin single party, majority, yung decision sa kanilang nanggagaling, parang hindi nila kailangan ng opinion ng iba kasi nga, under sila ng single party, yung control and decisions sa